going to capitalize or monetize, whichever the case, off of my sickness, because every time when I get sick, I always think, oh, I just have allergies because my nose is really stuffy. Wow, my face looks really bloated. But anyway, yeah, I always think that, oh, it's just allergies, and then by the end of the night, I'm like dying, and then I'm like, oh, no, I was actually sick. So here I am. And I just came home from a Target run, so I guess we're gonna show you what I usually buy when I'm sick. So first off is hydration.
Most important, the bottle of the JMO, so
hot
that
toddy.
you can just drink the
Also,
sick away.
You know, one thing that I was also wondering is, you know how in Colorado we're getting charged 10 cents a bag? Are we getting charged 10 cents a bag for these Target runs? Because look what's in it. This is only one item. There's only one item in here.
Yeah, no.
So this is 10 cents.
When I ordered stuff in California, it said they were gonna charge me for like 10 bags or something. I don't know.
I don't think I noticed
amount,
it.
and then they were like, and then we'll refund whatever amount of bags you don't use.
But even then, like, you're charging me 10 cents a bag, and you use one bag for honey. You could have just been like,
and there's no option. It's just like, hey, bring it out in a cart, and then just dump it into my face.
and then here's another bag where it's just like 4 things of sippable, microwavable soups. Yeah, Campbell's. I probably should have bought more soup, but.
Well, yeah, if they're really trying to save bags and they have an option that's like, oh, bring your own bag and we'll just fill her on up.
Just
Bring your own wheelbarrow.
Oh.
And we'll dump
And then I found this new thing. It's a Zicam Cold Remedy Medicaid Fruit Drops. And they're basically, what it is just gummies. And you're supposed to be chewing it every 2 to 3 hours on the onset of symptoms. But I already messed it up because it was like, chew slowly and dissolve completely before swallowing. I chewed it quick. So that will be interesting to figure out if that actually works or not. And then I was also looking at the ingredients. Zinc.
Yeah, which you don't need to consume zinc slowly.
I know. Oh, it also said ideally to eat after. No. Are you gonna chew it slowly and dissolve it in your mouth? Are you getting sick? Oh yeah, you are kind of getting sick because of me.
Yeah. Thanks.
I
You
also
and Teddy.
Vapo showers.
I ate it slowly. It took like 5 seconds.
5 shower tablets. So if you're getting amazing like me, you have that too. And then I don't know exactly. Patrick, stop. I don't know exactly where the Vicks Vapor Runs are.
Probably with the honey.
Why would it be with the honey? You have to have tea. So this is Puka, which I'm assuming this is a new tea company or something.
Patrick, stop.
Okay. So this is lemon. Bro, this is lemon, ginger, and manuka honey. Yeah. And then in addition to all that fun stuff, don't forget to do your neti pot, because it clears out your sinuses and everything, so yeah. I also have NyQuil Dayquil upstairs too that I've been taking. I should probably take another one. Ugh, God, and we're going to the zoo tomorrow. So it is one thing to record in front of my husband because I get really, like, self-conscious talking to the camera in front of him. I mean, I could do it with my kids, but I'm pretty sure they're like, oh my god, Mom, like, you keep on recording the same stuff. And yeah, this is probably like the third time that I tried recording this, but just because I'm like, my head's like all scatterbrained and everything. So anyway, so last week, posed a lot of unique and interesting challenges. So let's start off with Monday. Monday, as I'm driving to work and getting ready to drop off my kids, my van starts making like noises as if it's like a RC car. Like, if you know, you know. It starts sounding like a RC car. So then, every morning I talk to my parents and I ask my dad, like, what could this be? And he's like, well, does it only happen when you accelerate? And I was like, yeah, it happens when I accelerate, and then around like when I get to 60, it stops. And he's like, oh, maybe it's something wrong with the conveyor belt. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So, it's still going on, and it's embarrassing because it's making loud noises as I go through the gate, as I drop off the kids, And then, as I drop off my two oldest at the youth center, I'm going up the hill, and the check engine light comes on. So then I call my husband, and I said, hey, just want to let you know the car's making some weird noises, and now the check engine light's coming on. So he's like, okay, well, don't drive it. I'm going to come over, I'm going to take a look at it and see what's going on. Okay, cool, whatever. I don't really care. It's NREMT week, so I wasn't really planning on going anywhere during lunch. So he comes over while I'm in class, right? And he's like, yeah, so there's something wrong with the transmission. I don't really feel like it's a good idea for me to drive it to the dealership, which is thankfully just off base. So I'm going to get it towed. It gets towed, and it's at the dealership, and they're like, yeah, there's something wrong with the transmission. You're going to have to keep it here. There is a dealership. That's where the van is. So anyway, that basically means that this whole entire week, we have not had a car. And it kind of sucks, having one car for all of us, because that means that my husband has to drive us all to base, drop us off, and then go to work. And then basically do the opposite, where he gets off of work, he has to pick me up, then he has to go pick up the kids and everything like that. To make it even crazier, our two oldest are playing flag football, and I'm also a volunteer cheer coach, right? So then that basically means that Tuesday, Thursdays, when we're practicing, he has to stay put, to include the baby. Usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, what happens is I have all the kids with me at the fields, right? He brings he brings dinner, so we all eat, make sure that we have something before we go to sleep. Like, as soon as we get home, the kids go take a shower and they go to sleep.
You mean bed?
Yeah, bed. And then, and then he, like, also, after they're done eating and they're about to go practice, or they go practice, then he takes the baby, and then they get ready for bed. And then by the time I get home, the two oldest, they just need to be taken care of, and then we all go to bed. Well, because we have one car, my husband and the baby has to stay at the practice with us. And yeah, so we all come home, we're all late and everything. Everybody's like fighting over the showers and stuff, and then we go to sleep like maybe 30 minutes later, but it still sucks because it kind of throws a wrench in our usual routines. Anyway, but that's not all about Monday. So Monday is my first day of training for NREMT refresher. Hold on. So NREMT refresher, basically GWAS information. As an NREMT, nationally registered EMT, you have to have so many hours of national, local, and personal continuing education hours before you can recertify every 2 years. So that's the reason why we do it, and it's like a week-long course. It's recommended that you don't miss more than 2 hours because there's just a lot of information that we give. Patrick, what are you doing?
I couldn't get up.
Can you not? Do you have your seatbelt on still?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, day of training 1. The North Gate. I didn't really know this until I got to work, and a lot of my coworkers, or a handful of my coworkers, are like, yeah, I can't get through the North Gate because it's shut down due to a fire. So the Air Force Academy right now is currently building like this huge hotel, and it caught on fire. Thankfully, no one got hurt. There was no actual damage to the infrastructure. It's just like a small fire that was put out.
Fire?
Yeah, a baby fire. But still, it closed down Northgate, and I had 3 out-of-towners. 2 of them had to be diverted. They didn't have...
Fire?
Sure. 2 of them were from out of town, or 2 of them were from New York. They didn't have my my cell phone number, so they had to call my office number. Patrick, stop. They had to call my office number, and then someone from my office was able to tell me, like, hey, these people are gonna be late. So, okay, fine. So that's how Monday started. We started off a little bit rough, but then we were able to get through the day. So day of training 1 was fine. Day of training 2, however, was crazier. Like a very unique challenge, because by 9:30 there was like some weird overhead announcement in the classroom. You can't really hear anything, so I usually rely on my coworkers to kind of give me any important messages. So they heard it, but then I guess like it wasn't really important or whatever. Like whoever they clarified it with was like, yeah, don't worry about it. So, you know, we continued lectures, and then a bunch of people like start coming into the classroom. They're like, hey, we're evacuating. You guys need to go. I'm like, okay. So we all evacuate. And, you know, usually when we evacuate, we do fire drills and everything like that. It's not a big deal. Well, it turns out that something significant happened at the hospital or the clinic that we couldn't go back until 8 o'clock the next day. And I guess lesson learned from that is, regardless if it's a fire drill or evacuation or a false alarm or whatever, make sure that you have your car keys, because you never know. So that really put a major dent as far as the training, because again, I don't think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned it in like a previous take of this, is usually for entering into refresher courses, we discourage being out of the class for more than 2 hours, because there's just so much information that we give to our students. Well, from 9:30 to usually like we finish around 3:30, so that's about 6 hours of missed lectures. We had to find times to kind of fit those into the schedule so we can make up. And fortunately, I'm so glad that my students were super resilient and they were able to handle that, but we were able to like fit in those missed lectures in between like times that we had and all that stuff without having to sacrifice lunch or staying a little bit later. And I wanted to create this video right after the incident, but one, I wanted to make sure that it, like, there was certain information that I could say like, hey, this is what happened. I mean, obviously it's in the news, so I really shared with you limited information. But anyways, I hope that next week isn't as fun and crazy as this week, but who knows. And if it is, I guess there's more stuff for me to tell you, and I'm like, I really can't make this stuff up. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Oh yeah, typically most placentas will come out within 30 minutes after the baby has delivered. So what you'll oftentimes, which is not necessarily best practice, a little